A good morning to you at our studios and a good morning to our viewers at home. Yes, the Department of Education in KwaZulu-Natal is going to launch the school safety program. What I can just briefly tell you is that they are launching thousands of volunteers that are going to protect and guard KwaZulu-Natal schools. You'll also remember that in the past 3 months or so, a number of schools have been attacked by thugs, as the department puts it. And as a result, about a month ago, two security guards were actually gunned down by criminals at Ugusa Secondary School, and this is where we are actually launching the program today. And of course, this weekend we had an unfortunate program where a school in Umlazi was burgled by criminals, and as a result they then stole computer equipment. And this is where the Department of Education in KwaZulu-Natal have said that enough is enough. It cannot be that their schools can be turned into a war zone. But to tell us more about this, I've got the MEC of Education in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, KwaZimshengu. Thank you very much for your time, KwaZimshengu. Look, it has not been a good period for you in the last 3 months or so. I mean, 2 security guards killed, a learner has died just last week in Sestri College. And this weekend, of course, one of your schools was actually burgled and your computer equipment have been stolen. How do you hope that this initiative is going to ensure that your schools are protected?
It has indeed been a very difficult period over the past few months, where we have seen the rise of violence and burglary in our schools, including vandalism. So we then decided that we are going to lead a campaign where we mobilize our communities to ensure that they also partner with us in protecting our schools. So that is what we are going to launch here today. We are going to launch what is called the school safety campaign. And it's going to be a campaign because it's not going to be a one-day event, as it were, but we are going to roll it throughout the province and on a number of days where we are mobilizing our communities to partner with us in protecting our schools, because we still hold the view that the problems that we face within the school premises are a reflection of our society, a reflection of how violent the society has been, how volatile it is, including the drugs that we find in our societies, in our communities. So we thought that with the Premier leading us today, we need to engage with the communities, organize and mobilize them so that they also treat the school as their own properties, but as the centers where we are building successful communities, because we are really concerned about the quality of learners and the future of our learners. That is why we want to bring quality education. So if we deploy things that will assist in bringing about this quality education and such things get stolen by committee members, it takes the struggle backward.
MEC, this morning we had a blitz or a march, if I might call it like that, where you had NATU and SATU both being in solidarity in ensuring that schools are safe. Now, I guess the big question is, are these volunteers trained and equipped enough to fight thugs who would go into schools in a merciless mode to try and steal your equipment?
Definitely they are trained. We think the training that they have received from the community safety in our province is quite sufficient. They will be working in our communities, also not in the schools per se, because we want to tackle the problems even in our community so that it doesn't spill over to our schools. That is why even the MEC for community safety is here today to pledge the commitment of the department that we are going to work side by side to ensure that we uproot all these challenges right from our communities. And these volunteers, 1,500 that we are going to dispatch today, have been trained along the lines of fighting violence in communities, fighting against drug, including gathering instances where we will be able to combat a possible burglary before it happens. We will also recruit another 1,500 by the beginning of January, so that each and every school at least is being monitored.
MEC, you've been dubbed the champion of the 4th Industrial Revolution. I mean, you've equipped a number of schools, in particular in rural areas, with computers. But unfortunately, this weekend we had a school that was burgled. And as a result of that, computers were stolen. Now, what does this say about the 4th Industrial Revolution if our equipment at our schools is going to be stolen by thugs?
It's really taking us back, because as we would know that we have focused our department to ensure that we take quality education to township, to rural schools, and that includes deploying high-tech technologies, as it were, to be in line with the demand of the 4th Industrial Revolution. So as we deploy these technological equipment, they get stolen, and it takes us back. That is why we are saying to our communities, don't buy stolen properties. If someone comes to you and sell you a computer, you must report that person immediately to the police. Because look, we're right in the middle of the 4th Industrial Revolution, and there is no way we can say we will succeed in the future. We need to succeed now. So we need to fight against the scourge that is taking us back now, and in partnership with our community. communities, so that we succeed in ensuring that the product that we produce from our schools is in line and well equipped with the expertise that and the skills that are required by the fourth industrial revolution.
Now, MEC, let's go back to the school in Mlungisi where computers were stolen. I understand that the learners are going to write their CAT exams. Now, going forward, how will you ensure that such schools have enough manpower to protect the equipment that's there and ensure that these incidents do not occur again?
As I said earlier on, that this is the first batch that we're going to launch of 1,500 community safety volunteers. We are going to recruit another 1,500. But also we are deploying more safety features in our schools. We are building more strong rooms in our schools. We are securing everything that we have deployed in our schools. But quite frankly, we can only achieve if we partner with our communities, because these thugs reside in our communities. They plan within our communities. Even after they have stolen our equipment, they go to sell it in our communities. So that is why we are saying communities must be alert. They must ensure that they expose the criminals at a planning stage. But even when they are trying to sell these equipments now to our schools, these computers, they must be reported immediately to the police so that we apprehend them and send a clear message that we are not going to allow anything that will disturb the future of our country.
And going forward, are you adamant that this program is going to yield fruitful results?
We are quite confident, and the feedback that we have received during this launch is quite encouraging, is quite massive. Community members that we have been engaging with during the police in the morning and those who have joined our work have been pledging that they are also tired of having their learners' future being compromised by thugs. So they are also going to stand up and partner with us as government to ensure that we protect our schools.
And I guess it's very encouraging having unions backing this initiative.
Education is a responsibility and a business of everyone. It's quite encouraging that the unions, all of them that are recognized in the department, together with the Department of Education, we have joined our hands. We are speaking in one voice to say enough is enough, not in our schools.
Thank you very much. That's the MEC of Education in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, KwaZulu-Natal, just basically saying that as the departments, they've had enough of thugs who go into schools with the intention of stealing equipment that is meant to ensure that students get a proper education. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much there to our colleague Mlungisi Khumalo.